Hello everyone, welcome to What If Issei was Firefighter in My Hero Academia and What If Issei made the Joker Rias fell in love with him. Before we start, please go support God of Hope for writing that awesome fanfic. This is the translated version I made. There will be some mistaken character's gender, but of course Issei is a male. First story. What if Issei was Firefighter in My Hero Academia? In a situation where Nezu tries to bring good reviews to the UA, he finds that among the police, firefighters, emergencies and prosecutor's office, there are 4 young people who are considered prodigies. But there is a problem. They hate heroes. The prodigies. Since the appearance of quirks in the profession of hero, the words police, firefighter, prosecutor and doctor stopped losing relevance in society, being overshadowed by the word hero. They forgot those who enforce law and order. They forgot those who risk their lives for strangers. They forgot those who stained themselves with blood to avoid losing lives. And they forgot those who were trying to bring justice to those who were victims. Society held those who wore spandex and tights in higher regard than those who wore the blue uniform, red helmet, white lab coat and office jacket. That was until now. And it was because of an incident on Kamino-o, place where Japan's most beloved hero, the symbol of peace, had given his last battle against an enemy as old as the history of quirks. Now things were bad because society was beginning to enter a phase of denial, thinking that everything was fine. But it wasn't like that. Nezu, who had a lot of work and also pressured due to various criticisms of the UA Hero School, looked at documents having plans. I had to find a way to bring good reviews to the UA somehow. There had to be something. Until he found out by looking at some news headlines on the internet. Police managed to arrest a terrorist, Officer Midoriya breaks the record for successful arrests. More than 30 people saved from a burning building, firefighter Hyodo seen as a hero. Saved from a bullet in the head, Dr. Kamai achieves the impossible. An untouchable is jailed for grape, but prosecutor Mizuhara achieves justice for the victim. Something that caught the attention of those people mentioned was that they were all 15 years old. They were young and managed to excel in their corresponding duties. But he also investigated about his quirks. He was speechless. Each of their quirks were unique, perfect for the hero's job. They are what Nezu himself would call diamonds in the rough. With quirks like that, why didn't they ask to be heroes? This doesn't make sense. I wanted to know. I wanted to know why those young people are not heroes. Because they are not in their school. In the warehouse, 2 men who were cornered were shooting with assault rifles at 3 police officers who returned fire. They won't take us alive, damn pigs. We'll fill them with lead, damn it. The police couldn't get any closer. But one of them spoke. Tanaka Kodo and Arimi Kurumo, you're both surrounded. If you drop your weapons and surrender peacefully, no one will get hurt. Fuck you, you bucking pig. They shot again, trying to intimidate the blues, but that officer just sighed. They leave me no choice. How I hate using this. He loaded his gun and then pulled out another one ready to use. After several seconds the criminals were shooting and laughing, thinking that the blues were afraid of them, but they felt something touching their heads. They turned around to see that 2 guns were in the air pointing at them. Put your hands on your head or I'll open fire. The suspects could do nothing but surrender and turn themselves in. The police arrested them and Izuku got their weapons, which returned to his hands. How I hate using my quirk. Come on Sergeant, your quirk is great, you could apply to be a hero, a colleague told him. No thanks, I prefer to arrest rather than wear a ridiculous suit. In a burning building, fire trucks arrived and with hoses put out the fire coming out of the windows. But people said that there is a woman trapped there with her baby. Where are the damn heroes? Asked the captain, who was upset. There is no captain, they said they are looking for the press to broadcast their exploits. Live. Are you kidding me? Lives are at risk and you're more interested in fame. One of the firefighters, when he heard that, immediately entered the burning building and this was seen by his colleagues. Iodo, the captain, shouted at him. After a few minutes, the young man came out of a window with draconic red wings, now without his coat, carrying a woman who had it and in her arms, she had a baby. The young man took both of them to an ambulance and then returned to the building to get more. After 10 minutes all civilians were rescued and the fire was extinguished. But the hero arrived with the press but only made a fool of himself when he saw that there was nothing to save. Lieutenant Hyodo, you might get into trouble with the heroes if you use your quirk like that. You know I don't care about being a hero, Captain, I only care about the lives in danger. In an emergency room a teenage boy had a huge metal spike in his stomach which immediately required surgery. Dr. Comey. What do we have? Blunt force wound to the stomach reaching just 6 centimeters from the spine, he is bleeding out and we cannot provide more plasma. And the healing specialist heroes don't arrive. They are waiting for the cameras to arrive, doctor. The pink-haired girl sighed in annoyance upon hearing that. This is a hospital, not a bucking circus. Get ready, I'm going to extract the object. But doctor, the director told you not to use your quirk. I'm not going to let a person die just because a hero doesn't have anyone to record his feat. He arrived at the room and with the help of assistants, he began creating a spatial area where he controls everything. And after several minutes she managed to extract the object. The hero arrived and seeing that the patient was recovering, he complained to the hospital about why they didn't wait for him, but she appeared. I will not allow a life to be wasted just because he wants to have his minutes of fame. And with that he went to continue his work in the emergency room. So you're telling me she seduced him and therefore it was consensual hex? Yes it is. And the marks on the neck that are from hands, what are they exactly? Objection. To the play, said the judge. Please answer the question. She told me that he usually plays rough, that he is a masochist. Really? Because according to her psychologist profile, she does not show that type of behavior and you are under oath, which could mean that your testimony is false. Objection, Your Honor. I take it back. One last question. According to his psychological profile, there are indications that he is a misogynist, so in his eagerness to calm his hatred of women, he used his hero status and raped the victim, is that true? Objection. Yes, and I would do it again. What? What did I say? Let the jury see that Takeshi himself, alias Laserman, admitted to having raped that young lady out of hatred for women. Is that the kind of hero you want on the streets? No more questions. After 15 minutes. Has the jury reached a verdict? Yes, Your Honor. How do they declare the accused? We declare the accused guilty. The hero accused of a fit of rage stood up. Damn hitch, I was going to throw an attack. But he didn't expect that she would put her fingers on his temple and suddenly the accused would look around as if he was looking for something. Where is it? Where the hell is it? He couldn't ask any more when the guards subdued him and there when he removed his fingers he saw her. He was able to control his mind. Miss Mizuhara, that is a violation of the law on the use of quirk. In fact, Your Honor, if necessary in self-defense, one can use one's quirk as long as it depends on the situation. Okay, but don't let it happen again. The case is closed and with a hammer blow the prosecutor won. And after a busy day, the aforementioned people met at a bar. Hey Izuku. What's up Issei? Eyes over here. Haruka-chan, Chizuru-san. They both went with her who was waiting for them at a table. Izuku with Haruka and Issei with Chizuru. Drinking a few beers and sharing their daily anecdotes, these four 15-year-olds have many things in common. They are prodigies in their work and are committed to what they have chosen. And serving and helping civilians. But there was also one thing they agreed on. They hated the heroes. Why did Director Nezu bring us together? Asked a man with white hair and a red vest. I have gathered you to see these new prospects that I want to join my school. But the holographic image he showed the four young prodigies. Sir, I think this is a bad idea. They hate heroes, said a woman in a risque outfit. They are the ones who are indicated to make the reputation of the UA high. The issue now would be for them to join, and I think I know how. They have the support of many, said an old woman. Let me take care of that. For now I want you to prepare because we are going to receive the prodigies in our school. Many looked at each other, not sure about this. Will we receive them? Asked a man with sleep problems. That's right, we will receive Sergeant Midoriya Izuku of the Police Department's Intelligence Unit. Lieutenant Hyodo Issei of the Fire Department. Dr. Komi Haruka from the Emergency Room. Now Supreme Court Prosecutor Mizuhara Chizuru. They are the Elite Four. Negotiation. Everything was fine at the police headquarters where Izuku was drinking coffee while watching a report. When he arrived at his office he was surprised to see someone he hadn't seen before. Tsukechi-san. Sergeant Midoriya, there is a matter I must discuss with you and your friends. My intelligence unit is in trouble. He said, leaving the coffee and looking seriously at the detective. It's not your unit, Sergeant, it's about your friends, the Elite Four. The floor rolled its eyes as it didn't like that title. Look, detective, I know that the situation is bad for the heroes now, but I have no control over my friends, and we're just doing our job. In fact, this topic will be discussed at a certain place. You must accompany me. I have a homicide to solve. I informed your commissioner and she gave the case to another group. You have to come with me. I don't have time for that. Suddenly two people enter. They were Eraserhead and Snipe. Did you bring guests? He asked jokingly. Sergeant Midoriya, this is a serious matter and if something is not done, the society we live in today could collapse, the detective told him. That would give me and my friends more work, so I'm not interested. Now would you be so kind as to get out of my office, please? And he can make a deal with the CSPH, said the underground hero. Give me 5 minutes. Izuku arrived in a car which was escorted by the heroes. When he reached what is the entrance of the UA he saw more cars arriving and his friends got out of them. Understand, Izuku? Issei greets along with the other girls. Are you okay? We're fine, they told us that if we came we could make a deal, Haruka said seriously. What do you think, Chizuru? In my job I have made deals with the devil in difficult times. If we want to achieve our goals we have to follow his rules for now. Okay. Let's go. And so the four young men escorted by the heroes entered the place where all the students looked at the arrivals. Even the hero classes recognized the young men. They were the renowned Elite Four. When they arrived at what was a room with many rectangular screens, there were three people in the middle. One was a thin-built guy with glasses. Another seemed to be some kind of small animal. And the last one seemed to be an emaciated person. I'm glad you're here. My name is Nezu, director of the UA, and these gentlemen here are Cernii and the recently retired All Might. It's a pleasure. Yuck, the emaciated man couldn't speak because he spat out blood. Haruka and Issei became worried since their jobs often involve dealing with injured people. Don't worry about him, he usually does it often, the man in the white suit told them. Well, leaving aside the murky scene, tell us why you brought us here. Izuku asked seriously. It's simple, young man, UA has recently had very harsh and bad reviews on its reputation. Parents of the students of the hero course have had little confidence that we can keep their children safe. And I have had the idea of having people recognized by society and of very high rank study here to bring good reviews and to trust the heroes more. I don't mean to offend you, Mr. Director, but you know that we don't like heroes, Yuzuru told him. I know, and this will also help you to trust them more. Really? Almost 3/4 of them wait for the press to arrive to record their heroic deeds. Live, tell me, how can I trust the heroes if they don't do their part? Issei told them. It's the same with me. The hospital where I work becomes a circus every time a hero comes to miraculously cure a patient. It's a hospital, and lives should be taken seriously, Haruka complains. Several heroes who were supposed to be our support have let several of my colleagues die, and all for two reasons. Either they know too much or they are waiting for the cameras, Izuku told them very seriously. Many of them believe themselves to be untouchable and that they can be above justice, and believe me, it gives me satisfaction to see their faces from pride to despair, Chizuru told them smiling. The heroes are the light in this society, please do not talk about them like that, asked the former symbol of peace. Really? They are the light. Please don't portray heroes as righteous beings. Heroes are public servants just like us. So do us a favor and don't defend them. Several heroes did not like those words from Sergeant Midoriya, who received murderous glances. Even from that kind of white suit. Have more respect for those who have kept the peace since before you were born, brat. Honestly, his actions only made idiots who don't take this seriously want to become heroes. I thank you, All Might, Issei told him jokingly. Sir Knight, I had been angered by the cynicism of the brown-haired firefighter from Station 51 Squad 3. Gentlemen, we are here to negotiate, not to create discord between the heroes and the most talented public servants in the prefecture. They put heroes aside from public servants when they are also public servants, since the government itself pays them. What else can you expect from them? Said Chizuru. As much as I wanted to make enemies with you, I think it's better to leave this aside and move on to what's most important. Tell us what you want from us. Said Izuku, ending the discussion that he would really like to continue. It's simple, I want you four to join my school as students and teachers. I want you to teach what your trades have taught you to my students. There was a tense silence in the room, and then. No, thanks. I'm not interested. I'm busy. I have better things to do. Izuku, Issei, Haruka and Chizuru gave their answer to the proposal. Do you need anything else? Because we have work to do. I knew you would refuse, so I have something that would make you accept, Nezu said at Issei's words. Will they force us? Because that would be against the law. That would be enough for me and my team to build a case. I'm not going to force them, Sergeant Midoriya. In fact, I think there are several of your colleagues who were locked up in the minimum security prison called Purgatory, several of them unjustly arrested for violating the quirk law or because they knew things that could put into doubt the trust that citizens have in heroes. What do you think about this? The CSPH is willing to release some of them if you cooperate with us. At Nezu's words, the young people paid more attention. How many can you free? Izuku asked. 1 per person. Make it 5, Chizuru told him. Of the 4. 2 and 2 more for every half grade they spend in my school. At that, Issei took off his jacket and took out his red dragon wings, and with them he covered his friends who were talking. For the heroes it was as if they already had them. But for the elites this was what they wanted. So when they finished they spoke. 2 per person, 3 days off where we can work as public servants, and a legal quirk use license. No way, Sir Knight, I shouted angrily at such demands, since he thinks too much of what some arrogant brats are asking for. Hero Nezu. Then he accepted. The heroes were upset as that would give the elites more freedom. Suddenly the screens lit up and showed 7 people covered in shadows. We have heard your conditions and we accept them, said a man in the middle. Give us names, Nezu asked. The 4 of them looked at each other seriously for a few seconds until they nodded and Chizuru spoke. Hacho Shinobu Tomio Kakiyu. You heard, gentleman, Nezu told the commissioners. They looked somewhat serious. All the data profile of the two mentioned and their crimes was shown on some screens. Hacho Shinobu, 17 years old. Former prosecutor, highly recognized for 20 cases won and only 2 lost. Arrested for unjustly accusing Todoroki Enji of domestic violence despite the evidence against him, imprisoned for using her quirk Blood Poison, which creates poison and biological toxins on a fan who wanted to defend Endeavor's honor. Tomioka Giyu, 17 years old. Former prosecutor, highly recognized for 21 cases won and only 1 lost. Arrested for ruining a corrupt hero's career and using his quirk Wade Water, which creates water out of thin air, as an unjustified defense measure in a court of law. In the minimum security prison called Purgatory. The young man was leaving his cell being escorted by guards, and several inmates said goodbye to him, thanking him. "Don't come back here, old man. Thank you for your legal advice. We'll see you outside." When he arrived, he saw his partner. "Tomioka, how are you? Still serious? If you keep going like this, you'll never have any friends, that's why no one likes you." "It's not true, nobody hates me." "Ah well, I'm sorry your eyes see it this way. They are out." "Who's next?" Sir Night Eye asked. Izuku made a signal to Issei for him to ask, which he took advantage of. Itatsu Tamaki and Kasukab Shinra. The screens showed the data of the aforementioned. Itatsu Tamaki, 16 years old. Firefighter paramedic of Station 51 Squad 6, renowned. Quirk Bakaneko that creates claws and tails of a demonic cat. She is credited with 9 rescues. She was arrested by a hero when she used her quirk to open a wrecked car to save its occupant. Kasukab Shinra, 16 years old. Technical firefighter of Station 51 Squad 12, recognized. Quirk Inferno Heal, he is credited with 16 rescues. He was arrested for accusing a hero of starting a fire to have his moments of glory. He broke 6 of the hero's ribs, 2 tibias, and 1st and 2nd degree burns. "We have no problem with Katatsu, but Kasukab is considered a demon because of his aggressiveness," said a woman from the commission. "That demon will not come out, no." But the whole floor shook, as did the building, when a loud bang was heard that cracked the floor. It was Issei who hit the ground, looking angry and with his dragon wings open, looking very threatening. "Excuse me, did they say no?" he asked, challenging them. "We can free him if we implant a GPS locator chip in him, right?" asked an elderly woman to the commissioners. To which they agreed, much to their displeasure. Okay, said All Might, trying to calm the situation. Then Izuku looked at Haruka, who nodded, looking at him, and said the following names. Tadano Hidehito and Asana Najimi. Tadano Hidehito, 16 years old. Renowned emergency and cardiology doctor. Quirk threading that creates very durable threads. He is credited with 6 successful open heart surgeries. Was arrested by a hero for not waiting an illegal use of quirk. Asana Najimi, 16 years old. Doctor in emergency medicine and oncology. Quirk hormones that allows her to control hormones. She is credited with removing 5 malignant tumors. She was arrested for castrating a hero who almost raped a fellow student. "I'm free at last, thanks to Haruka-chan, I'm free at last," shouted a person who was dancing, accompanied by 2 guards and a young man who was hitting his forehead for her attitude. And then there were the 2 of them with 3 guards who had earmuffs, and Tadano, who said, "Swallow me up, Earth." "Thanks, I'm going to miss you, Ryu. Thanks for your hospitality. Can I know where you live, Kaido? Tell your unfaithful wife that I send her my regards, haha," was his answer. "But we demand that Asana does not leave the prefecture, and we mean it." Okay, said All Might, already wanting to end this. The last one, who was Izuku, said the last names. Last but not least, Itsuka Shido and Takasaki Kurumi. Itsuka Shido, 16 years old. Detective policeman. 23 arrests. Raw power quirk that allows him to expel powerful and lethal energy. He was arrested for gathering evidence for a case of corruption in the hero agencies and knew too much. Takasaki Kurumi, 17 years old. Detective policewoman. 20 arrests. Time bloody quirk that allows her to alter time by ingesting blood. She was arrested for nearly killing 6 heroes accused of corruption and grape. She cut off their genitals. There was silence in the room at the last mentioned. "She's not going to leave, not her." "What do you mean no?" Izuku asked angrily. "There are 2 reasons, and those are that her quirk makes her dangerous and that she has sadistic attitudes toward suspects. It is obvious that she will not get out." "I'm sorry, Sergeant Midoriya, but there are limits here. Please choose someone else," Nezu asked him while drinking tea. Izuku clenched his hand in frustration, as he had promised Shido, his detective under his command, that he would get her out of there. But apparently she had no other choice, so she mentally apologized to him and said another name, hoping that would relieve him a little. Hanjimiya. Hanjimiya. 17 years old. Detective. 16 arrests. Quirk Vision 3, she can see in 3 dimensions. Past, present and future. as long as her brain has serotonin. She was arrested for helping Itsuka Shido in his corruption case and refused to accept deals from the CSPH to bring down her partner and lover. Outside a cell was a blue-haired boy waiting for it to open, and when it opened a silver-haired girl was revealed, smiling pervertedly. "Oh Shido, I missed you." That cell had a very large door. Nia said. Asked the hero in white suit. "Yes, why?" Izuku asked. "Nothing, I just didn't think she would become a police officer. I had high expectations for her to be a heroine, but she didn't want to." "Both are out, we're done." And with that the screens went black. "Well, your uniforms and schedules will be sent to your departments. I hope to see you at my school, young people." Without saying goodbye they leave. "Is there anything you want to comment on?" "Don't regret what you asked for," the four of them said, thus leaving those present confused. What they didn't know was that their students wouldn't have it easy with them at UA, and even more so the blonde bomberman. Problems in Parasite. Things at UA were just beginning in Class 1A. All the students were waiting for Izawa, who had already arrived late. When he arrived, everyone was ready for class, but the sensei was going to give them an announcement. "I'm going to make an announcement. We're going to have 4 classmates who will also be your tutors welcome them." And 4 people entered through the door, some of whom are recognized in the field of public service. Those 4 people stood in front of all the students. "Soy Hyodo Issei. I am Komi Haruka. Soy Mizuharu Chizuru." The 3 of them introduced themselves, and then when the green-haired boy was going to do it. "Soy Midoriya Aizu. Deku." Someone had shouted. And it was someone the students knew and knew his temper. "What are you doing here, damn quirkless?" "Nice to see you again, Bakugo." He cared little about his look of wanting to kill someone. "Answer me, damn bastard, you have no right to be in the same place as me, so I'll get you out of here." "Izuku, do you know him?" Haruka asked his friend. "He's an acquaintance of mine from my childhood. He likes to scream as if he were on his period." "My deepest condolences for having to put up with such an idiot," Issei said in pity. "If he bullied you, tell me so I can press charges against him," Chizuru told him, looking at him with displeasure. "Consider Chizuru." "Bakugo, sit down now," Izawa ordered him using his quirk. Despite being an impulsive person, he knows that he could get into trouble. So for now he obeyed, looking at Izuku with murderous desires. But he just ignored them. "As I was saying before, a certain person with a superiority complex interrupted me. I am Midoriya Izuku. They will be your classmates, and in another class that will be added to your schedules, they will be your teachers. Welcome them and treat them with respect, since they are very well-known people in the field of public service." "Do you clean the streets of garbage?" asked a dwarf with purple balls on his head, making several people laugh. Even Bakugo laughed louder. Some people didn't, and what's more, they looked at the 4 young men with suspicion. "But. Hey, Deku," the Muslim spoke to him and then threw a ball of paper on the ground. "Pick up that trash quickly," he ordered, snapping his fingers. Issei had gotten angry thinking about taking out his claws, but Izuku stopped him. "Of course, no problem." He smilingly went to pick up that ball of paper before everyone's eyes and the arrogant smile of the Muslim. "I like it that way when you obey me." But he couldn't finish because they shoved the paper into his mouth. "Put your trash in its place, don't be a pig," he said as he left, making everyone laugh. Bomberman spat out the paper ball and immediately lit his palms to attack more. He couldn't move. And it wasn't because of Izawa, but because Izuku was holding him back with his telekinesis. "Damn bucking Deku. Yeah, that's really bringing down an idiot's pride." The classes were given. And although everyone was paying attention, the 4 young people on their tablets were working on their respective jobs. Izuku had to investigate the murder of a man who was shot in the head in his car. Issei was trying to organize and tell his squad boys to repair the truck's hose system. Haruka was trying to analyze what was happening to a girl, since even though she didn't feel pain, she had a lack of B12 and mobility problems in her extremities. Chizuru was preparing some evidence and what she would say at the trial against a tycoon who raped his assistant, although he claims it was consensual. When it was time for recess, several people took advantage of the opportunity to meet them, including Iida and Ichako, who were curious about the green-haired boy who humiliated Bakugo. "Hello, we are your Raka Ichako, and this is my friend Iida Tenya. I don't think I need to introduce myself," he said without stopping looking at his tablet. "Then put your attention on them. How can I help you?" Sir, I think you don't recognize me, but you saved me a while ago in Saitama Prefecture. You know that you are forbidden to say such a thing that you did, right?" he asked her seriously. "I know, I just wanted to thank you, sir. That man had killed many, it was my job to arrest him, but if I see you again and you put your life in danger again for such idiocy as revenge, believe me, I will arrest you, no matter how good a friend I am of your brother." "Yes, sir." "And stop calling me sir, that I am perhaps a year younger than you." And. Suddenly Izuku's cell phone rang. "1 second, what do you have for me, Shido?" We found the gun 2 blocks from the crime scene, ballistics analyzed the shells and they matched. Look in the registry for the serial number of the gun, it is in the name of Igo Horu, arrested for illegal possession of drugs and violent assault on stores. We have his address. Okay Shido, Nia, I want you to take him to the station for questioning, to see if you can find out anything. Yes Sergeant. And I'm sorry to have to leave this job to you, I'd rather be there putting the case together than here playing school. I don't know, sorry Sergeant, I know you did it for us. Shido and I along with the others will solve this and build the case, show those hero kids that being a police officer is not a shitty job like they say. With that he hung up the call, but he noticed that all the students were looking at him. That. Izuku, you had the speaker on. Oh Buck. Are you a police officer? That was the question of all of them. Izuku had to spend almost the entire break answering questions and getting glares from Bakugo. When the next hour came around, it was time for hero training, and all the students from Wano were present in their costumes. The Elite Four came out, but they did not have hero outfits, but instead had UA sportswear, since they did not want to wear ridiculous hero outfits, and they were not allowed to wear their outfits until they completed paperwork. And then Izawa came out. Well, today to know the potential of your companions we are going to do a one-on-one fight. The first will be the Firefighter. Lieutenant of the Fire Department of Station 51 Hyodo Issei, Mr. Izawa, you should sleep more. The professor frowned at those words. You will face Todoroki Shoto. The aforementioned looked at the chestnut tree. After a few minutes everyone was surrounding the platform where Issei and Shoto were looking at each other. And with a signal from Izawa the fight began with Shoto throwing an ice glacier straight at the Firefighter to end it quickly. Which seems to have worked since the Firefighter was trapped inside the ice. Sensei, this is over. Okay, the winner is. But he could not continue as the ice itself began to crack. Then this explosion. What the hell? Todoroki-kun's ice is supposed to be able to immobilize strong enemies, were the words of a girl named Yoi Rozumomo. HMP, it's obvious that this child doesn't know what he's up against. I feel sorry for Endeavor's son, said Chizuru smiling haughtily. Is it all a boy? Because you bore me, I spoke in a bored tone to the bicolor who was very surprised. This time I'll be serious. It throws a larger glacier with lower temperatures covering the chestnut tree again, but the same thing happens. And the same Firefighter looked indifferently at the two-color. Hey, if you only know how to throw ice, then this will be so boring. You might have a chance if you use your fire. My fire? I don't plan on using it, he said coldly. Well, if that's the case, I'm not facing a potential hero, but a child who doesn't mature. I don't know what your motives are, but villains and emergencies don't care about those motives, so I'll do what I do to those who don't take their jobs seriously. Don't come out with nonsense. He launched another glacier 3 times bigger. When it comes to my job, with a slap he destroyed the glacier. I never do stupid things, in fact I don't have to keep talking to a traumatized child. Now you'll see why you lost since you faced me. 2 red dragon wings emerged from his back and his forearms had scales with thorns. Something that had surprised several. Now it's my turn, I hope you can withstand this blow. And with a speed impossible for a student to follow, he disappeared and then hit him in the chest. But the strangest thing was that the fist had very powerful crimson flames. The two-colored boy flew until he hit a wall. Leaving everyone present in shock except the elites. Issei, I think you went too far, Chizuru told him, very upset. Sorry, it's just that I got emotional, he smiled, holding his hand on the back of her neck. The doctor sighs and then goes to see the bicolor. They moved on to the second round and it was Chizuru versus a purple-haired girl with jack phones in her earlobes. When she started she used her jacks to subdue her butt. He stopped. Leaving others in suspense. And suddenly the girl's expression became one full of horror to the point that she began to scream and then grabbed her head, and from screaming so much because of the shock she fell unconscious. The question was what the hell happened? Until the prosecutor approached her and touched her forehead with her hand, thereby calming the girl down. It was obvious that the prosecutor won. What just happened? Ida asked. It's simple, she entered her friend's mind looking for some memory or fear that she could use against her. Chizuru is not one to fight, but to use her head. Her mental capacity is so powerful that it is terrifying, said Issei smiling. That made everyone start to be afraid of the prosecutor. Great, more work, Haruka said sarcastically as she went to attend to the girl. The third round was now Dr. Haruka versus Uraraka Achako. Okay, I'm ready. The brunette girl launched herself straight at the doctor, trying to use her quirk with her fingertips, but the doctor was very fast, easily avoiding the attack. I had no problem. After several attempts, the doctor got bored. I have better things to do than being here, but well, I better get this over with. From her palm a pink circle formed and then it became a dome that covered the entire platform. What the hell is that? Asked an electric guy. Your quirk, your partner is missing, Izuku told her, looking seriously. What is this place? Am I trapped? You could say yes, in this place I control everything as if it were my operating table as a doctor. I recommend that you leave before your situation gets worse. I'm sorry, but I'm not going to give up. The brunette launched herself at the doctor, who sighed in annoyance, and then with a wave of her finger, a concrete peak rose between her and the brunette. I wonder, what do you keep in your chest? The doctor bent down, and suddenly her right hand arched her fingers. And as if nothing had happened, his hand not only passed the rock as if nothing had happened, but it reached the chest of the chestnut, and something flew out of her back. Everyone was wondering what had happened until a sound was heard. It was more like a heartbeat. On the ground inside a transparent cube there was something that terrified many. The heart. The chestnut, in shock at seeing that there was a hole on the left side of her chest, fell to the ground. The doctor made the same heart appear by her hand. I think I won with this. I don't see fibroids or signs of hypertension, so you have a healthy heart, but I would recommend avoiding stress, he said, smiling, and then put her heart back in her chest. Thanks, doctor. Those in class A now had something in common. Don't make the doctor angry. Finally, those on the platform were Police Sergeant Midoriya Izuku and Bakugo Katsuki, who smiled like crazy when he saw his victim. Ready to give him his overdue doses of punishment that he deserved according to his point of view. Start. Shiny. The Muslim approached directly to explode his face, but Izuku jumped and avoided that attack. Then the most furious blonde attacked again, but suddenly a force threw him far away to the limits of the platform. The fall hurt him, and he looked at the policeman with even more hatred now. Do we continue or do we take a break? At those words he launched himself again, but this time with a stronger explosion, but then he couldn't move. Something was pressing on his neck. He saw that it was Izuku, who had his hand making a grabbing gesture. That terrified the students and put their dead sleepy teacher on alert. I have a murder to solve, and I can't waste my time with a kid who thinks everyone is going to kiss his feet for being the best, so you better give up now. Deku, your place is being a pebble in my way of being number one, said the madman, while trying to free himself. I'm going to count to 3, and if you don't give up I'll send you to the infirmary, he said seriously. I'll kill you, Deku, you're nothing but shit. 1. He tightened his grip, blocking her breathing. Grandma bro. Sensei, stop him. 2. The blonde, instead of feeling afraid, just looked at him with superiority and showed him the middle finger. And he said to him. You the 2. What a bad word you chose. And he squeezed harder until the pressure cut off all his air, suffocating him. But suddenly his quirk turned off, causing Bakugo to fall to the ground and cough, holding his throat. Izuku saw that it was the Izawa who stopped him. The meeting is over, Midoriya. I'm glad because I'm already fed up with him. He got off the platform and with the other 3 he left. Classes are not over. Yes, we have better things to do, Haruka told him, not wanting to pay attention to the Muslim. They left the clandestine hero and the whole class in silence without anything to say about them. That day, those from 1 had decided not to bother them. Well, almost everyone. We already know who the idiot is. By lunchtime, the 4 of them were enjoying their time in peace. Although Haruka was somewhat frustrated. What's wrong, Haruka? Issei asked while eating teriyaki. It's a case that was assigned to me. I ruled out the lack of B12, and I've already moved on to leukemia. Her white blood cell levels are low, but what worries me is the pile of eosinophils that are concentrated. Najimi recommended me a bone marrow analysis in case it could be cancer. They are already preparing to do a biopsy. You're afraid it's cancer, right? Asked Chizuru. The truth is yes, that girl cannot feel pain of any kind, and now with the probable cancer her life would be worse. Don't worry, Haruka, I'll solve it, you always find the answer. Not always, Aizu-chan. I was never able to save that woman a year ago. I never knew what happened to her, not even in the autopsy. The 3 of them did not say anything after Haruka's words, but then at 4 other tables a student was complaining about his classmate stealing his food. Hey, that was mine. I'm hungry, let me eat. You always steal my food, you look like a parasite. What no one knew was that the word parasite echoed in Haruka's mind. Parasite. Why does that word seem so obvious to me? Wait a minute, after thinking so much, he opened his eyes wide as he came to a conclusion. Oh my god. He immediately started looking for Najimi's contact on his phone and called her, but she didn't answer. Haruka, what happened? Chizuru asked worriedly. Answer, damn it. Haruka, can you tell us what's going on? The policeman asked now. Izuku, did you bring your motorcycle? I need you to take me to the hospital now. Okay, let's go. They both left in a hurry, but someone was in their way, and it was Izawa who wanted to reprimand them for the lack of respect they gave him. Midoriya, Komi, where do you think? They ignored him and were quick as he couldn't catch up with his captured bands. Regarding the prosecutor and the firefighter. Those 2 should get married, don't you think? The prosecutor told him. They don't want to admit it, but it seems that they like each other a lot, said the brown-haired boy while eating his friend's pork katsudon. They arrived at the parking lot where they went to a black Suzuki brand motorcycle. They both got on and left at full speed, causing Izuku to turn on some sirens and police lights with a button. It took about 10 minutes to get to the hospital, and Haruka got off. Thanks Aizu-chan. Go ahead, I'll park it, go Haruka-chan. She left immediately although she felt her heart beating a lot since she had felt the green-haired man's pectorals with her hands. But it was not time for that, he had a life to save. He arrived at what would become a room where he saw his friends and colleagues, Doctors Tadano and Najimi, who were going to administer nitrous to a 12-year-old girl with blonde hair and green eyes. Stop, don't put nitrous in it. They were surprised to see her. Haruka, what are you doing here? Asked Tadano. Preventing her from being killed, he said, removing the girl's mask. Wait, why do you say that? Because they gave him Tadano in the electrocardiogram that I asked for, this caused this thing. What's up Haruka-chan? Najimi asked, somewhat annoyed. What else? B12 deficiency. Oh, it can't be, Haruka-chan, you're great, but we're back to the same thing, he was already given B12 and he didn't even improve. It didn't get better because someone else ate it. That left the two doctors frozen since they know that metaphor. Do an abdominal MRI, we need to know how much. What are you doing, get away, don't touch me, don't touch me. She was the girl who was upset and looked fearfully at the doctors. The paranoid delusion again, said Tadano. Damn, he'll die at this rate, forget about the MRI, we need an operating room now. In an operating room where Haruka was being used to put on blue clothes to operate along with Tadano and Najimi carrying the girl who was getting more upset. He's busy, a doctor told him. That gallbladder can wait. Help, they're trying to kill me. What? You can believe a girl who looks upset knowing that she has a medical problem, or me who is a renowned doctor who takes her job very seriously, because honestly there are many ways to kill someone. Itchy, help them, said the doctor. We need everything, scalpels number 10 and 14, forets and a large salad bowl for what we are going to take out. The doctors prepared everything. Told her he saw that they were not taking long, what are you waiting for? Do it. Everything was ready, she asked for the sponge to sterilize the area she was going to cut. Aren't you going to anesthetize her? Asked the doctor. You don't need it, it would be useless. And with precision he cut the abdominal area, causing the girl to scream, scaring the other doctors. He's acting, I won't fall for it again, girl. The girl fell silent when she saw that her performance was not working. Haruka asked for the scalpels, and with several movements with the scalpel he reached his target, which was the large intestine. When he cut through the forest he came in and felt that he took something. I got you now. And carefully he manages to take out what would be the head of something that amazed everyone. She was a tapeworm, a human parasite. Pork is delicious, Jews hate it and Chinese love it, but if you don't cook what you eat properly, you may let in an unwanted guest who will take away all the available B12. Could I have a tapeworm? Asked the doctor. It's not likely, it would hurt a lot, he replied, carefully removing the tapeworm, surprising the doctors even more as it grew longer. That explains how it went unnoticed, Tadano said. Pain is like an alarm in our body that warns us that something is wrong, and since our dear friend does not have an alarm, this undesirable thing did its thing without any problem, he said, taking out more and more. One of the attendants took a photo with his phone, annoying Haruka a little. This bastard must be about 11 meters tall, said Najimi, holding the salad bowl with the parasite being inserted. 10.5 Najimi, so far no one has reached 18. He finished taking out and sighing with relief he left, leaving the rest to his colleagues. Already in the afternoon she went out and saw Izuku waiting for her with a smile. You didn't have to wait for me. Yes I had, after all Haruka-chan is the why. She smiled and hugging the policeman by the neck she kissed him lovingly, to which he reciprocated. When they finished they looked at each other. Do you think they already suspect what's happening to us? If they suspect, I don't think they'll mind, Aizu-chan, after all, I love you and only you. Me too Haruka-chan, sometimes you drive me crazy when you act serious. And you to me when you make use of force. What can I say, I am a lethal crime fighter. Phew for you're tempting me. Well that's what I want. The policeman and the doctor kissed again. Who would have said that these two were going to be a couple? Second story. What if Issei made the Joker Rias fell in love with him? Few people know the meaning of what chaos is, and Rias is one of them. Chaos can be used as a weapon or as a means, and she uses it to have her beloved. Seed. In an interrogation room were several fallen angels looking at the greatest terrorist of all. Rias Gremoriaka Chaos. Have you already spoken? He didn't say anything. The pillar of the volley factions didn't arrive at the agreed place. These were the words they said to their leader Azazel. He went inside where she was handcuffed with anti-magic shackles. He sat down in front of her. Hello inventor Ineptu. He interrogated her but got nothing out of her. Vali Lucifer did not come to his meeting. That's right, Azazel, it's a shame. What did you do with him? Excuse me? I was here. How could I do something like that? She smiled, very amused as she showed him her handcuffed wrists. Supposedly, Azazel, you sent him with your men, assuming that they are still your men and not Kakebiel's. It feels horrible, right? Knowing how alone he is, knowing that you were responsible for the death of the hero of the factions. Where is Vali Lucifer? Depends. It depends on what? What time is it? And what does that have to do with it? Assuming that at the time he can be in one place or another. Iridid was playing, in fact Azazel couldn't make her talk. Well, if you want to play, that's fine. He stood up and had removed the handcuffs, putting a silver bracelet on her that nullifies magic. If you don't mind, I'll go get a glass of coffee. The cliché of the good and bad agent. Don't you have anything better than that? None of that. Azazel came out. And after 2 seconds the lights came on and the terrorist's smile grew wider as she felt a presence that she loved so much to the point of madness. Issei. He tactlessly touched the woman's head with a holy cross, making her moan in pain. Which, as painful as it was, he liked it. She looked at the chestnut. You know, if that Hichikeno was alive, she would already be enjoying the pain like a first-time prostitute. I know you can. The knock on the table caught his attention. Okay, no more references. You wanted me here, well here I am. I wanted you here. After all, you've been made the one who does the dirty work of the cowardly leaders. I can bet that when I exposed that Hitch's infidelity and that she got killed for it, you were late and the current pathetic Lucifer admonished you for it, and all because I wasn't there for you. I'm not here to talk about the past, Rias. I know what Razor did was horrible, but you didn't have to kill him. You know how hard it was for me to have that pig touch me so many times trying to break my mind. There wasn't a day when he left me alone and humiliated me in different ways. The love I had and still feel for you is what kept me from giving in completely to madness. Sirzichas locked him in the casino when he found out about that. But the damage was done and the bucking elders got away with it. Is this what you defend, Ice? Are you defending hypocrites? Issei didn't know what to say. In fact, since she was forced to marry Razor and passed into the hands of Serchans, he was broken, but the worst was how the damn Phoenix sent him a video of how he forced her to do things she didn't want and she screamed and moaned in pain. But I couldn't do anything. Bekeno, Kaneko and Asia were the only ones who kept him going. Then why did you kill them? Because I could see how they, just like everyone else, manipulated you like a puppet. Now look at you, you can't even go to the bathroom without them knowing about it. I know they played with me by telling me that you were happy with Razor, but they didn't deserve that. No, of course not, they deserved more. Worse than those I put in the middle of the square. Do you remember? That toxic hitch who cheated on both guys. Issei remembered well that day his restrictions had been increased. You're still the one who thinks we're all good, but you're realizing that's not the case. They replaced you with Vali, making them believe that this battle addict is the hero, and all because he has the blood of a Lucifer. Where is Vali? He asked seriously. We're talking about our life together and you mention that idiot. Do you know if they weren't watching us from the other side of the glass I'd be having your strong member inside me, we'd be bucking like animals showing love and passion. If you love me so much, why did those idiots Kakebiel and Loki hire you to kill me? Why do you want to kill me? Iridid, upon hearing that, let out a very crazy laugh as if she had been told a very good joke. Not at all, Ice, I don't want to kill you. I just want us to have our end together to see the world burn for its sins. Do you hear yourself? You talk as if you really want to see the world burn, as if the Rias I knew years ago is no longer here. That Rias died the day Razor raped me. And a new one was born who is willing to get what she wants. To have power you need fear. For fear you need chaos. And I became an agent of chaos to be feared in the factions. Now all that's left is for everyone to give themselves over to chaos, including you. Chaos only creates death. You became a genocidal maniac. Don't talk to me about what is right. You are not like that. You are not a god to dictate the terms of the order. You are only a weapon that is now effective for them. But when you are no longer useful to them, in the end they will throw you away. Just like a leper. I try to make you see the reality, but they have you very much by the leash. Issei, I love you. She slowly takes his hand, transmitting that warmth that the brown-haired boy had not felt for years. And he did not deny it. He still loved Rias and wanted to save her. We are both monsters that the world hates, and that is why I want to bring chaos, and from that chaos an order will be made, and that order will be effective. We will both be happy together without that hitch. Who? You know who? Losing his temper, he grabbed the Iridid by the shirt. Where is Vali? He asked seriously. When will you understand that what I do is for your own good? He put her against a pillar, looking at her menacingly. Turning on the Iridid. All those inside watched everything. Everything is in order, said Azazel, worried about Issei's sanity. Don't make me kill you, Rias. There are two reasons why you can't kill me: the pathetic attempt of the ruler of the underworld ordered you to keep me alive. And the second and most important is that you still love me like the first day. Understand it once and for all, Rias, I don't love you anymore." She didn't flinch at those words, in fact she was smiling. "You are someone pure. You can't lie even if you want to, and you always forgive. That's why Irina cheated on you with Vali." "Irina?" He was surprised by that revelation. "You didn't know? The one who said she loved you only slept with whoever suited her." He then put her against the table, causing her pain. Instead of complaining, he just laughed with a lot of humor. Issei, no longer having control of his anger, put up a barrier in which Azazel tried to enter to stop him. "And you know that she has your child in her womb? All this time they both saw your face." He took her and slammed her against the glass. "Where are they?" "I love that rudeness." Then I push her into a pillar. "Where are they?" She enjoyed the pain. "You have to choose, Ice. Save the pillar of the factions or the girl who cheated on you with that usurper." Rag, with a scream of fury, he hit her in the stomach. She coughed a little too. Laugh in a macabre way, making him grab her shirt. Her laughter and frustration make him lose control of what is right. "You can't do anything to me, you have nothing you can do to me with all your strength." He put her against the wall. "Tell me where they are." She, instead of telling him. She kissed him wildly. Her legs clung to his waist and her arms to his shoulders. He was trying to separate himself. But when they ran out of air. She bringing her mouth close to his ear. I whisper something to him. And immediately he released her and removed the barrier. "Issei, where are you going?" Azazel asked. "I'm going for her." While in the living room, the Redeed just stared at the ceiling, still laughing in a macabre way. His entire plan was already cemented. Through the kiss she had given him, she had planted a seed in him. One within which distrust and discord will grow. A real chaos. Chaos plus dragon equals a destruction. And in the end there will be a new order where beings have already learned from their mistakes and will not make them again. Where hard times will make strong people. And strong people will form quiet times. The world without greed or fear. The world without hatred and indifference. The world without unnecessary wars. The world where there is only peace and happiness. The world with long and happy times of real peace. And that world is the one she wants to create. You and I will make this world a world full of happiness, my Ice. The plan. Issei managed to save Irina, but when he tried to save Vali, an explosion occurred, causing significant damage to his face. The whole place was a mess. Surziches had arrived along with help as well as Azazel. "But I have just been informed of the Grigori base. Your sister escaped taking several items from my laboratory." For Surziches everything was bad. Not only could he not prevent what happened to his sister, but now she had become a terrorist. But the worst was yet to come. Issei didn't want to believe Ria's words, but something she said during the interrogation didn't leave him alone. "And you know that she is carrying your child in her womb? Both of them have been watching your face, Ice." He had to have what he said to be true. "Partner, don't torture yourself anymore. Just do it." And he did it. He felt the aura of Irina, who was next to Vali, and he could see it. A small aura was inside him, and it was from Lucifer. Issei felt pain in his heart. "Wait a them. When?" "Issei-chan, what are you talking about? Don't you see that Vali-kun is in serious condition? How long have you been lying to me?" That scream had caught everyone's attention. "What are you talking about, Hyodo? And I'm going to ask you not to yell at Irina," said the silver-haired boy, somewhat hurt. "I can feel their auras. She's pregnant with your child." For both of them that was like a bucket of cold water. They were planning to tell him. They didn't want him to find out that way. "Issei-chan, we can explain it." "Explain to me what?" "That behind my back you were fornicating like rats while I was risking my life. While I thought I could trust again." "Hyodo, it's not like we wanted this, it just happened, it wasn't our plan." He felt very angry at Vali's words. As if cheating on him was a normal thing. "It just happened. It wasn't our plan. That's all you have to say in your defense, Vali." His draconic aura had come out. He was going to hit him, but a hand on his arm stopped him. He was the Redeed. "Issei, control yourself, it's an order." The brown-haired boy looked at the leader of the underworld and saw in his eyes that he was not surprised, not at all surprised by the betrayal that both friends had done to him. "Did you know?" he asked her. "I had no idea what was going on." "Don't tell me lies, Surziches, did you know?" she asked him again, raising her voice. It didn't matter if he was her superior or her leader. "Yes, I knew it." She walked away from him at that revelation. He looked at Azazel and saw that he knew it too. Everyone knew it. And nobody said anything to him, as if they cared little. "Issei-chan, please listen to me." Ignoring Irina, the brown-haired boy took out his dragon wings and turned his back on them. "I left." "Issei, where are you going?" Surziches asked in a commanding tone. "What do you care?" And with that he took flight to leave. Issei, come back here, it's an order, the Redeed shouted, but it was of no use to him. Irina fell to her knees crying, knowing the damage she did to the boy she loves and all for an affair. Vali felt totally miserable for having done that to his friend whom he helped to have a new opportunity. I hope you are happy with what you did, Vali. Betraying a friend, especially a dragon, is a grave offense to our race. He ignored Albion, but deep down he knew what he said was true. This was not part of his plan. I told you, Surziches, this was going to be discovered sooner or later despite all your plans. And you know what's the worst? It was your sister who told him everything. What is Rias looking for with this? What does she want? He wondered. What you denied her when she was forced to marry that phoenix, being happy with Issei. At night nobody wanted to talk about the subject. But the next day all the chaos that Rias caused in various places came to the forefront, and the worst thing was that the news of Irina's pregnancy and the deception of Issei came to light, being in the headlines of the newspapers and news transmitted by the underworld and the other factions. Everything was chaos, and to top it off, Issei was nowhere to be found. He was in his bed alone, staring at the ceiling, hoping that what he discovered that night was just a bad dream. But he knows it was all real. First all his girls cheat on him, then his friends leave him, then Vali becomes a fake hero all on Surzich's orders, and now Rina, with whom he thought he could start over again, is cheating on him with that usurper. His life was total shit. And all thanks to someone. Rias. I didn't deny it, I felt a great hatred towards her. But even though he doesn't want to admit it, he loves her and continues to love her. These were his thoughts before closing his eyes and getting some sleep. He woke up, he felt his hair being touched with love and care. Listening to a beautiful sound. It was a humming of a beautiful voice, a voice I already knew. He abruptly opened his eyes. He looked at who it was. Good morning, Ice. Rias? That's right. It was her. But lingerie that in Issei's eyes was very erotic. He tried to move but could see that his wrists were trapped and his ankles were bound by shackles he didn't recognize. Don't worry, these shackles are special because they were made specifically for you. I'm not going to say who made them, but it starts with A and ends with L. What are you doing here? I came to see how you were, are you okay? He did not answer her. Stupid question, whatever. I think it's time for us to make up for the time we've lost. Why are you doing this to me? It was the question that Issei had given to the Redeed. When she heard that she was no longer smiling, in fact. He looked with pity and desires of hatred not directed at him, but to those who treated him as a disposable toy. You had to know, he sat next to her bed touching her brown hair. They were always lying to you, Akeno, Kaneko, Asia, Zenobia, the older Hitcherina, everyone around you was lying to you. And your plan was to let me know the truth of everything so that I wouldn't trust anyone anymore, right? That was your plan. She shook her head. Do I seem like someone who has a plan to you? My actions are random. I have goals, but I don't have a fixed way of making them happen. I'm like a dog chasing a car, I wouldn't know what to do if I ever caught up with it. She approached his face. I just make things happen. He didn't know what to say to her. When I tell you that everything is for your own good, it's because I'm telling the truth. Those who are the Chaos Brigade have their plans, the old men of the council have their plans, the leaders and sub-leaders have their plans, they all have their plans, they are conspirators. They always try to control their sad lives and those of everyone else. You are the example of what they tried to do to you. She climbed onto him, sitting on his pelvis. I'm just trying to make them see how pathetic they are and show them that control is just a vague illusion. So when you know that if I tell you that everything I do is for your own good, you have to believe me. Do you know why? Because you are telling the truth. Exactly, you're starting to understand it, my beloved Ice. Then why does it have to be me? Why did it have to be you too? Why can't we be happy? Issei was already frustrated, tired of everyone seeing his face as an idiot. She just sighed. That's simple, you had plans to be happy, I had plans to be happy, but they didn't like our plans. She touched his strong chest with her hands. I only uncovered their plans so you would know who you serve and what their purposes were for you. Can they do whatever they want with us? He asked, trying to understand everything. Look, Ice, do you know what I realized? That when everything goes according to plan, no one finds out even when the plan is creepy. She releases one of her shackles. If tomorrow I kill an enemy of the factions or blow up a convoy of Alliance soldiers and they find out, nobody will care since that is part of the plan. Then release the other shackle. But if tomorrow he managed to kill, I don't know, Serafol. Everyone is losing their minds because it doesn't work or it's not part of the plan. What are you trying to get at? That's simple, we are all pieces on a chessboard and if we don't follow their absolute orders, they throw us away like garbage since we are not useful for their plan. She pulls out a gun out of nowhere. Introduce a monarchy, alter the order, and the world will become chaos. She gives the gun to Issei's hands and points it at herself. I became an agent of chaos because chaos itself is a step towards order, but I'm not talking about a common order, but a new one where no one will be used to be part of the plan of others because they will be afraid to even try. Can I tell you something about chaos, Ice? That chaos is fear. She tensed her hands. Now you must decide, follow the plan of those who have lied to you, save many lives that will not thank you, be forgotten as nothing more than a vague memory by those you saved, or join me, make chaos, create destruction to make way for a new order, and be happy together. Choose Issei. He was now in a dilemma. If he kills Rias, the chaos would end, but he would lose the person who loves him unconditionally. If he doesn't kill her, many people will die, but he will be able to be happy because he will feel that he is no longer alone. Be selfless or be selfish. He wanted to be selfish for once in his life. To be happy. But his good side that has led him to this moment of pain and humiliation by those who deceived him, told him to kill her, that the world will thank him. His finger was about to pull the trigger. But Ice, no matter what you choose, no matter if you decide to kill me now, I have always loved you and I always will. He looked and realized. She didn't smile like the crazy agent of chaos. If not like the Rias that he knew years ago. The Rias that has always loved and never stopped loving. And also he cried. He cried because he is the one who has his life in his hands. And he did not wish for any other destiny than the one he has now. Dying at the hands of the person he loves. It is something he wished for if his goal was not fulfilled. She closed her eyes, hoping that in another life, she could be happy with Issei. But the brown-haired boy moved his finger away from the trigger and threw the gun away. Leaving the retreat surprised. And without expecting it, she felt the brown-haired boy's lips on her mouth. Issei himself was kissing her so desperately and possessively that she didn't expect. But in the end the kiss was reciprocated. Since this was what I wanted most. That Issei loved her like before, with such devotion and dedication. Both, after a few seconds, feeling that the air was running out, they separated and looked into each other's eyes. Rias, I love you. I love you too, Ice, more than anything in life. They both kissed again. That night they both managed to consummate their love by giving themselves body and soul. They both joined together to never be far from each other. And finally. She was on her lover's chest after everything they did in that bed and couldn't help but smile. Burst of happiness. And now malice. Since that seed you planted grew. And now it was necessary for it to bear fruit. For the new order to be present. There is not much left. They have started the final judgment and we will be there to see them fall under the weight of their sins, he and I being the protectors of the new world. She looked at her beloved who was now asleep and kissed him. A new world for you, for me, for the three of us. Let me know in the comments below if you guys want the next part. Also check out my other video that has been shown and left. Thank you for watching. If you enjoyed this video, please like and share this video. And have a fantastic day. Bye.